It's the penultimate day here of PEL as we get things going for Phase 3 once again. You wanna make sure everything's nice and okay for me? I do appreciate that. My name is Kyle Loris here for the analysis desk, and to my left-hand side, getting things going, it's Froz, who was nicely caressing my jacket, and Avenger as well.
Who's nicely caressing Froz's jacket.
Oh, things got weird very quickly.
Full circle.
Strange. But we're back. FaZe currently sits at the top, gentlemen. Team Liquid now in second place there. TSM has had a little bit of a tumble, but is looking to strike back. 2 more days, boys. It's all down to the wire now.
Down to the wire, but what's going on with some of the teams? We have teams like NIP, Reciprocity, Raise Your Edge, Knights. They're not doing too good right now. And one of the things is, they're not changing anything up. They're playing the same game they've been doing for 85, some of them for 200 games here in PL. Now, you're going to be predictable by this time.
Sure.
You got to change things up. You have 2 more days here. Do it right now. Are you going to play the same game and keep on just dying? Or are you going to change something up and try to win?
Well, to that point, do you feel like Team Liquid was a team that kind of suffered from that a little bit? Obviously, they had that small slump, and then they realized in interviews that people were adapting around them, so they maybe had to
well,
make
they
a change too.
said in interviews as well themselves, you know what, we're predictable because we're using some very good, good rotation rules because it's hard to shoot them while they're rotating, etc. But if they're not there first, teams that are closer to those spots that they play a lot are going to take that spots because they see in the VODs, when they do their VOD reviews, when they do their preparation, they're going to be that. So I definitely think that Liquid has been one of the teams suffering from that, also because they're always very centered on the map. They're not going to be there first every time.
Let's take a look at the points coming in here. You can breeze over these whilst Froz continues on his points.
So the thing with Liquid that we saw them having a dip, but what happened then was that they looked at the games, they were like, oh, people are predicting us, they know what we're going to be doing. What should we do to prevent this? They took more time to loot, so they're a little bit slower on the first rotation, but that also helps them to win the games now.
And it certainly helps them to win the points as well, as they've moved up 2 placements into that second place spot. Both TSM and Na'Vi have taken a small fall. However, for TSM, it's not been the easiest of weeks by any means. Now they find themselves in 3rd place with 611 points. Gentlemen, with only 2 days left, with 11 games to go, as of course we'll be having 5 games today and then 6 games tomorrow, can TSM rise back to the occasion? Because there is quite a divide already there between TSM and FaZe.
For me, it's going to be nearly impossible for them to gain 43 points on top of what FaZe is going to gain.
Okay.
FaZe is not going to go quiet here with this. They're going to have 60-some points minimum.
And also they seemed hungry as well in that interview with mxey yesterday. It felt like they hadn't become complacent for any reason, even after winning the previous phase. Still #1, still hungry for it.
Look, it's going to be hard for TSM to try to catch up to #1 spot there with FaZe Clan on the top. But at the same time, they can go for it. They can try new stuff as well. Make sure you're ready for the international stage, for PGC. This is the training ground you have to work on right now. But what they should be focusing on, it's not FaZe Clan, it's Liquid. One step at a time. Take over Liquid, from there you work your way up and take over FaZe Clan.
Definitely a more manageable gap.
100%. Set yourself short-term goals, game by game, day by day. Taking over Liquid would gain them $20,000 more as well. So that goal alone is more achievable and more realistic as well. But as I said before, 43 points on top of what FaZe is going to gain in 11 games is a lot. We're talking, they need to get 100 points in 11 games.
And that's not just TSM. We're talking about all the other teams, like N47 chasing Na'Vi right now, NIP chasing up to CrowCrowd. Look at what those teams are doing. Those are the teams you're trying to beat. Those are the teams you want to get out of your game straight away. Can you counter them somehow? Can you set up an ambush? Can you hot drop them? What are you going to do?
What for me is interesting now as well is that we're at a point where we're coming towards the end of the phase. If you want to take someone's loot spot away,
Hi, Scoom.
Hi.
If you want to take someone's loot spot away for next season, this is the time to do it. If you're a mid-pack, try to get some of those guys that are maybe trying to get into the PGC points, maybe trying to get into a better spot for prize pools wise. Maybe you don't have a chance for that, or it's a very long run to get into the top 8 or improving your spot like that. This is the time. Desperados, I'm sure that they're debating whether to take back ruins. I talked to SIMSY and he's not happy with their current looting situation. Sanak.
Well,
he said we've had no circles. When we go into Ban and Camp Bravo, they get no circles. When we go on the West Coast, we're the last team to rotate, and we have 6 teams in front of us. For this stuff like that, you want to, especially on a map like Sonic, you want to have one of the top 5 drop spots.
Feels like 9th, 10th, Desperado, Reciprocity could be the teams to try and make that happen. Raise your edge as well, definitely, as we get things going. Final thoughts before we head over to Miramar?
Not really. I'm pulling
Actually, no.
Actually, no.
Actually, no.
You're pulling a Timmy on us?
Wow. No, I mean, it's great to see we're going to have Miramar coming up here. I want to see N47 stepping it up and have a big game here, catching up to Na'Vi a little bit more, because that's going to be a race there, and I want to see them catch up to Na'Vi and pass them as well.
They've definitely closed the gap so far here throughout Phase 3 towards the end of things. It is our penultimate day as we have 11 more games to go. We're heading to the desert. It's Miramar as we go over to our commentary team. Pansy and Demon, take it away.
Thank you very much, James. I hope the mic wasn't open about 10 seconds ago, because me and Lauren were doing our little corn intros. But there we go.
It was solid. It was good stuff.
What is it? Freak on a Leash, isn't it? No?
No, this is Disturbed.
Is this Disturbed? You are right. You are right. It wasn't corn. It was
Disturbed. That awkward Vine? Again, it's
anyway.
It's old Vine references. It's all I've got. There it
Massive distractions from the actual game and starting the matches. It is Miramar once again. We have now 11 matches left. So that means there's only 4 more Miramars, 2 more Sanoks, and 5 more Erangels.
Because it's an awkward one. Yeah, we have the extra Erangel on Sunday.
Yeah, we have the extra Erangel. I don't think anyone's complaining it's not an extra Sanhok, so it's all good. It is a pretty sound plane.
Throw in Vikendi. I repeat, throw in Vikendi. Oh, I love it. Just to make it happen. Go on. Do you know what? Give me a show match on Vikendi. Oh.
Don't. Jake will do it.
Show match on Vikendi. I repeat, show match on Vikendi. I'd love that. Just to annoy the players at this point. They're starting to get happy. They hate the circles as they are. And honestly, that's something I'm really surprised at. Is I generally thought the pro players would be really kind of happy with consistent circles, but they're getting more and more frustrated.
But they hate it
with the certain areas. It's
Did you see Fuzz's tweet?
Yeah, exactly. Like Fuzz is hating it. Liquid's frustrated. I know TSM are like, I hate these field endings. Yeah. Stop it. I don't want to play out of a shot.
Yeah.
Bless them. They're all having a bit of a rough time, and this is an interesting one.
Bog standard center.
Yes, it is.
But it could go anywhere.
But that's the thing, right? There's no heavy favorite here. Yes, you could say Water Treatment had a good couple of circles. It feels like a while since we've seen that, though. San Martin's had a bit of attention. You've had a couple of the areas that are within this have a lot of the circles play towards them, so there's a lot to be seen.
If you were to go off the heat maps, this is a tricky one for the in-game leaders to call, because it really could pull anywhere. We obviously had a couple down by Bendita yesterday. Yep. Minas Generales, we've had finishes there. You know, we're over even at Picado. We had the Picado finish. Was it Thursday? I believe it was down south of Picado. TSM Gustav picked up a massive game in that one. Iro's found himself the bus. Not really going to be able to do much else with that. Na'Vi off, continuing off on their northern run. So they're going to go back up to Cabrera, which actually suits with this circle. The northern territory is obviously massively exposed based off the playing path.
And it also suits Na'Vi in my mind. I think they're one of the teams that plays really well at coming in. Late game, it's what I think I credited G2 with last season when they were very strong at doing it, is that coming in edge and then just kind of taking territory, and then if it hard shifts towards them, or if you get one of those kind of shifting towards the edges, they capitalize on it so well. They're really, really strong at doing that. So for me, I like how Na'Vi play out. We haven't seen the best of them, if I'm honest, and you can see that M47 are certainly hot on their tail. They're not far off from jumping Na'Vi here. If they have another big day, pick up some wins, high kill game, and we see Na'Vi being a little bit more quiet, that could certainly be a huge potential moment for N47 to jump up on that leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, they were in 4th place at one point. Obviously, they took over, I think it was Liquid that had dropped out of the top 4 at the time. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting one for them. They had high kill count on Miramar and Sanhok once again. So this is where they do excel on these maps. I don't think they've had a winner yet. I'm not too sure. But either way, I wanted to talk about G2. Because we had a good conversation. I don't know if you caught all the conversation with Gustav.
No, I didn't.
Obviously, we were discussing the fact that G2 camped TSM yesterday.
Yes.
And Gustav's opinion of G2, basically explaining their gameplay, he said, they're a horrible team because they don't center up. They'll just sit on the edge. They don't really go for any objectives because they could have taken a much better position if they hadn't sat on the edge, but they want to sit on the edge. They're just a menace to other teams. Was his exact words. I loved it. I loved it. Some clear frustrations, but actually pretty true and accurate of what G2 do.
And now the thing in my mind is, and this is, I feel for TSM because they're on the receiving end of it, and I actually really like the way TSM have been playing. I love that pickup with Iroh. I like all of the elements that work with TSM I like, but just removing them from the equation, I love that G2 can set a precedent now, right? This is the thing. Oh, actually, we've got a bit of an issue here.
Oh,
Speaking of TSM, that's Ibby.
Yeah, he's
getting a lot of attention from them. The headshot was well timed from Gustav, but it looks like he might have been able to move around enough to obscure vision, hide behind the pillar, keep himself safe for a second of a heal. Not where you want to be, though, but you can see in the mini-map, Gemty's getting a little bit closer, so might be able to support here, might be able to get over. For me, it's more that I enjoy the fact that now G2 can set a marker saying, okay, well, we're willing to do it. So now you need to be at least hyper aware of it, and it may slow rotations, it may switch up game styles. You can isolate teams and make them very uncomfortable, because bear in mind, we've had an entire pro league of consistency. Eventually, everyone worked it out. Gustav going to receive the flag, I think, from those supporting members from Liquid who came on by. That's Gemty there. But yeah, for me, I like teams willing to do it. It's very risky. It can cost you, as said, the positioning. But the long-term gain is also you put people on notice. You put people going, well, now we can't do that as easily. Now we can't readily do this.
Well, if you think of them on Erangel, when we have those Western circles, it forces TSM and FaZe Clan to make wide adjustments to their rotations. They cannot take a straightforward east to west rotation. That is not possible. G2 will catch them. Oh no, Gustav's got to go on the back.
And this is the thing, I love the fact that so many people in chat yesterday were like, well, they didn't mean to do that, that was just reactionary. No, that was a fully planned piece.
100% mean it.
And to be fair, that's why we wanted to ensure that that was the case by talking to the players, because sometimes it does happen as a reactionary moment, but that was a purely set up piece.
Yeah, basically Chris saw them making sure that, Chris was in a point that he saw them going over the bridge and said, right, okay, they're avoiding our camp on the main road, we're going to get them at the bridge. And it worked. And then they moved the bridge, and then they purposely moved down to Ferry Pier, knowing damn well they're going to come blasting over. There's a 50-50 chance. They could have carried on straight over and gone sort of, you know, send it literally into center circle, or they're going to play it safe, go left, scout it from that hillside, and that's what they were set for. So it works out. This is not a good crash for Bjorn though, because he's gone right into D8. Mitraleius will just take him down. That's a very easy point. First kill of the game, second one follows. Yeah,
one by one, individually pushing in, just unaware that DA could be in this position. I don't know if they didn't scout it well enough, or simply put, they didn't see them. Maybe unexpecting of it this far out. It's not exactly a central point, but DA are definitely here. Yeah,
it's very crowded because obviously we have this southern plane, so it's caught GamerLegion off completely. Desperados were down in Shumasera along with GamerLegion, so they've kind of just been run into the grinder here.
Yeah, and GamerLegion are trying to put up points here. This is their kind of recovery period to stay out of that playing for playoffs, basically. You don't want to be trying to stay in the PEL. You want to be above that. And mxey is now in survival mode, and he needs to stick to that, and it's not easy when you have the likes of FaZe just throwing shots at you.
He's like, for God's sake, FaZe are in Picardo, what's happening? Why is this happening to us? So yeah, mxey in full survival mode. Don't really know what he's got, but he's just going to try and hang on there. The Pittsburgh Knights are going to be loving seeing that kill feed lit up with GamerLegion.
It will push them back to the potential of getting out of that bottom four situation. That's what everyone's trying to avoid, and it's a bloody battle down there. It's tough. So again, keep your eyes on those names. The Knights, GamerLegion, anyone around that marker is going to be fighting to try and play late game. And that's why I'd have thought GamerLegion would have been a bit safer, a bit more cautious, because you're looking for safety in this.
Mitraleius continuing. This is Desperados. Obviously, we saw them catching GamerLegion from behind along with Desperados, along with DA, so it's inevitable that they will clash at some point. Calvin's just going to pull up and scout it out and make sure he finds a safe spot for the rest of his team to rotate into, which is what's happening. N47 also coming along the ridgeline nearby there. TSM, they've backed up, found themselves the big compound at Hacienda. It's a very good compound with a lot of views. If it pulls this way, which it kind of did, was it yesterday? It was yesterday, right? No, it was day one where G2 won. It kind of pulled towards that exact compound there.
Okay, so again, you can see, if you have the map stream open, you can kind of see where teams are putting themselves. There's that kind of crescent moon. It's just kind of around the southern hill of San Martin, because it's very unlikely to end up on that, so teams are just kind of hedging their bets around it. G2 playing edge game, Na'Vi doing the same thing in the north, just working their way in slowly.
Apart from the Knights, they're just like, we're staying up here.
Well, I mean, I guess they just have to play in response. CrowCrowd, though, going to find Raise Your Edge. It's going to be 60 being lost quite early on. Again, trying to get towards Hacienda, sending it into quite a dangerous area. It's pretty well populated, and there's the northern hit. That's pretty big now. This plays so well towards Na'Vi's hand. They basically control the northwest. I wonder how they then approach this. Do they go for where Bestlosh is? That seems like a very heavy favored compound for them.
I'm wondering if they're going to go to that corner compound at San Martin, which is quite a strong common compound, and it is almost the central point. So San Martin, you can see Razor Edge are in there. Nipper going to the compound that Razor Edge were in yesterday. And you remember, they caught Razor Edge off guard in that. Instead, I think Nipper going to go for the hills. The Knights are moving across. Razor Edge will go into that corner compound. That's what I was expecting Na'Vi to maybe try and send it for. Na'Vi choosing to stay on the hillside. FaZe on a long rotate. They're almost going back from Picado all the way over to Monte Nuevo. DA now also moving into Picado as well.
Well, this is a common FaZe approach. They literally came up that main road last time. I remember them sitting there on that hillside. They played it up. Not a bad game for them. They were in actually a lot of freedom, so they know that this is a very open area. Looking at Liquid, a little bit different. They were up by NIP before. They were on that hillside.
They favoured this place before, though, haven't they?
Yes.
It's got that road that basically gives you an approach straight in there, but I'm a little surprised to see Gemty continuing on towards Hacienda.
Crash. That's a that is a straight-up crash there. I hope we get to see it.
There's only two in it, though. I think they're trying to get a north-south, and they've got to realise that TSM are there, but it doesn't matter because TSM are getting knocks from reciprocity. So Team Liquid have actually gone in there, and TSM are caught in no man's land in the ditch.
That's really lucky for Liquid that they've been able to get to this position without... Cause look how close TSM were. That was almost nade range. They were getting very close. We want to maybe hold these guys back. But losing out on one of these players to CrowCrowd means that TSM now needs to think of their own plans.
Team Liquid are questioning in this call. They're backing away because it's like, well, hang on, there is a team here. They don't realise that TSM just lost to, I think it was in the ditch.
They're going up the hillside?
Yeah, they're going. I mean, it makes more sense, right? They go central. They're going to bump them into the two players from the Knights. I think Zanark and Wanted maybe up there.
It could be a bit of a pinch here. You look at M47, you look at NIP and Knights. That's a lot of teams to be walking up towards. It's a bit of a risky maneuver. You're really heavily favouring that centralized position. Yeah, this is it. M47 instantly see that. FaZe lands a bit of a banger on Samty, but you feel they were in the open. They were running up on a hillside that's got already so many teams up there.
Yeah, I mean, they're only based off the information they have, right?
Exactly.
And instantly it is getting replied. Gemty's trying to get a couple of shots back. I think I saw Jeems taking a hit. Yeah, he did in the background. So Team Liquid, Ivol is right up on them. Yeah, Gemty switched to the AR, ready and waiting for it. Barrel low for Ivol. This could be bad. Samty bleeds out. So Liquid losing one early on here. And the Knights are watching this from the hillside as well as NIP further on. Yeah, Liquid backing away, going to a bit more of a cover position.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit risky to do this, and it still is. Ivol's control is so nice.
With a barrel from that range?
Keep in mind, the barrel kicks like an absolute mule, let's put it that way.
That was good with the barrel from that range. That was very impressive.
Like, we all know it shreds about 100 meters, but 200, that thing kicks. So really nicely handled by Ivol, and this gives him a low kind of ground approach because he does have a teammate up to his north or further high ground side. But look at Wanted, he's getting interested in this. This is pulling a lot of attention, these extended fights.
He's going to catch M47 off. Oh, and look at that. A quick double. So Wanted gets Vazku. There's a nade coming in. Oh, just about bounced past them. That was very close. Page gets a good revenge frag onto Gemty. Wanted's coming in with the nade onto Vazku, and that may well finish him off. There's nobody near him. Yeah, that's almost pinpoint on him. They do manage to get Ivol off, but look at Ibby. Ibby has gone right up close and personal. Znark, meanwhile, down the line, gets a clear vision of him, but Wanted's nade will finish off Vazku. Ibby does manage to get the flush, but M47 down to 2. Those nades are looking hot.
Yeah, they really are, and M47 are probably kicking themselves. They wish they could have executed towards Team Liquid quicker. The longer you take, the more time for teams to come over and make these rotations, and the Knights are in perfect position. I don't see anyone pressuring them. DA could, Razor Edge could, but no one else is that nearby, and I don't think they will do with the new circle.
No, the circle shift. Knights have actually come to back up. They've got their 4-man coming across. It's going to lose them a position, a massive position lost on terms of trying to get the next circle, but they're set up to execute Team Liquid here. T-Bone, the last man standing for N47. They're kind of been boxed in and done now. It looks like he's got nowhere else to go. You can see he comes out the back, and Jeeves' nade is there, but now Liquid are in trouble because the Knights are here in force.
They certainly are. They pulled up their last couple of players, and they need to have that little race to go further north. New circle came in. It went far west, so FaZe, Na'Vi have big control, CrowCrowd, big control, and DA are flooding right between them. So again, here comes that race between Jeems, and I think it's maybe Znark's trying to meet them up there, but Jeems is trying to get that high ground on them to try and alleviate the pressure from the guys shooting down towards Ibby and Gemty. So Jeems here should be the perspective we look at, because he could be the one to temper these two who are simply not considering this. Barrels out. Znark's found Ibby. He can't stay alive. Yeah. Jeems could not get there fast enough, and now they've turned attention. I think Jeems might have seen a bit of a pixel. Drayden deletes him, and the Knights hold the high ground.
And now think back to GamerLegion going down early on. The Knights are picking up points. They're going to be back into that 12th spot. This is a big play for the Knights. They need all the points they can get. And to start off strong today would be a big bonus for them. It does put them right on the edge of the circle, though. They had a chance to go as central as they could. You know, instead they chose to take this fight. So we'll see how that plays out as the game moves on. Back on the circle settings area, you can see G2, Reciprocity, and ENCE. They've all taken these big northern swings around the edge of Hacienda and almost up to water treatment and inwards. So it's given them a position. Reciprocity have found themselves open territory as the circle did move quite heavily up to this northeast position.
Yeah, and you can see the teams committing towards that Death Valley, as we like to call it. CrowCrowd's got the compound that's got the hillside that rolls into it. FaZe Clan in the harder-to-hold compound area. They've gone for the 2-2 split on that. DA on the hillside overlooking where ENCE traditionally like to go. You have Na'Vi slightly further east overlooking San Martin. So these are the big kind of teams, big players here that have taken the western side, and they had it early on. So they've been able to kind of pick and choose what they want from it.
We'll see where it goes, whether it does pull up northeast once again. Whether it goes down. Na'Vi obviously central at the moment, been on that hillside position. Desperado's trying to come in there under fire from Na'Vi from range. They're just trying to find a couple of ditches and keep themselves happy. 7 on the other side, looks like they're in and safe. Pittsburgh Knights going to play it on the edge as we see where it goes. Will it go to that northeast position, or will it pull to San Martin? Who knows?
Northwest.
It is going to be a north ball.
Okay. So Na'Vi, again, king of the hill on this one so far, feeling pretty good about this. DA can't be too upset. They need to be able to spread out wide enough that they keep vision on anyone be able to pull up to them. You can't see it as much here, but I know everyone plays this game well enough. It's a high ground area, and the issue then becomes, yes, they could overlook, but the southeast side is so busy, and there's only so much room to be had. So anyone on the extremities can take wider rotations and maybe find a bit of room here. So, for example, the Knights, Desperados, 7. But people like Team Liquid, TSM, NIP, Raise Your Edge, that's going to be a brutal battle now.
Yeah, everybody in and around San Martin, it's very crowded. Actually, I hadn't noticed TSM in there. I was looking at NIP and Raise Your Edge, rather. Raise Your Reciprocities. Well, where you going, Desperados? You're going to be in nade range here. So up on the hill, and they're well aware that Na'Vi are here because they've been taking shots from them. They're going to go for this ditch. But this is like a hole-in-one for Na'Vi. They can just roll those nades down into this ditch. It's so easy for them. There's a doozy. It's come straight down, instantly forces them away. So they're going to go aggressive. They're going to push up. Now, are they going to get shot in the back by DA? I don't know. I'm trying to think of the angle. I can see GamerLegion's got wanted pretty much dead to rights.
But I think it's just mxey, though, so
yeah,
I
he's
don't
the
think
only man
he
left,
wants to do this unless he's forced to. And now with the blue moving in, he's having to make his mind up as the Desperados get engaged upon and those nades continue. DA's now in nade range, so Desperados are getting it from both sides, but in theory they could be kept safe from both teams. And now Gemty waits for the last man, takes down mxey, repositions to the left side, so easier vision couldn't have been had, but the trade comes back in. And it's, you know, it is what it is. You wouldn't expect too much to come from that. He was trying to fight his way out of it. Blue was going to be coming in, trying to maybe catch a couple of points on the way out.
So Ultra was picked off by the Knights from behind, but it's Na'Vi that secure the kill. 7. Oh my word, this is 4 and a bloody Mirado. They've managed to get in somehow across, but oh word. When you're doing gamble plays, that is right up there with the high stakes, trying to make it work out for you, but it has. Raise Your Edge are choosing to continue around San Martin. Obviously, we just watched them losing 1 player. They still have 2 on their feet, working away across the street.
Not a bad round for the Knights here. Rough ground to be playing off of, but they do still have vehicles. If they have to send it, they can, which I think is now the plan. Reciprocity are doing the same thing. They're flooding through, probably towards the foot of the hill by Na'Vi, unless they just straight up crash it. He could be trying to go to the lower side of this hill because I'm pretty sure he knows that he's got his boys watching this angle. mxey could punish him, but that's the only player on that side who can do it.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of work to do on foot, trying to make it his way across and basically be unseen as much as he can. With 2 of the top 5 already out, there's some big points out there to be had for Na'Vi, who are chasing down that top spot. You can see it's a 60-point gap, 64 points in total gap. You know, they want to be at that top spot. They don't want to be coming into PGC as the 4th seed, something like that. They want to be known as destroyers of worlds, and they're hoping that they can do that. The Knights, they do consolidate. They're back on the hillside. Na'Vi have already tossed out all the nades onto Desperados. It hasn't paid off, so we know they haven't got nades to worry about.
I actually don't mind this from the Knights, considering the
FaZe
position
have an
they're in.
angle.
It's the best they could do. So yeah, they put up the smoke wall on their western side to allow a bit more of an approach towards potentially Na'Vi. A hard compound to breach though, because there's high ground and there's some off angles. Look at Aduzzi's. He needs to just basically watch the cross. If they get any closer, allow bestlosh room to play, gets the spot, gonna call it out, tag him up, mark him, make sure they know what's happening here. Aduzzi now comes into play. Gets the tag on one, but he can't over adjust, he can't over peek. He feels weakness in Snark and he wants to punish that.
Well, it's got caught out by it. The big man comes in. Drayden takes him down, and now the moves get played out as they try and flank around. Rios goes very aggressive, but gets caught out by Pokemon on the flank position. Going to back that up with a nade as well. Still had one. Meanwhile, further to the southeast of this, the Battle of San Martin is playing out. You can see it there with TSM, NIP, Reciprocity. Everybody's getting involved in this one. Yeah, Miikaz, they need all the points they can get, especially from the Knights.
Yeah, barely holding on by a point here, so he's praying these guys go down cleanly and the Na'Vi deal with them, but with Drayden, Snark, and Wanted still alive, there's still plenty of threats for Na'Vi. They're certainly not out of the woods yet, and you can see the Desperados getting a little bit curious. They've moved up on the compound, Reciprocity's on the way. This is the worst time for Na'Vi because they can have so many other threats coming through this way.
Yeah, Knights are fully into the compound. TSM, raise your edge. This is all happening still in the edge of San Martin. They're all in the grinder, really, NIP as well.
One nade.
Not a lot they can do for them. The Knights coming around. Reciprocity starting to keep everyone at bay. They're just looking to collect all the points down here. You can see this horrible open run that these teams have to make to get up basically to this spot here. This is where they all have to move to, so there's already multiple teams involved.
Well, for the Knights, this is time to get out of that bottom four. This is a big game for them now because GamerLegion have gone down. They should have been able to see that on the kill feed. They'll know it's game time. It's time to play either full survival, go for placement, or just try and get a couple more kills, and they'll be golden. They'll be okay. They'll be at least pushing further up, so that little battle back and forth continues.
NIP have got out. They've managed to get out over to the left, and that's a problem for the Knights now because you can see they're about to come up the hill directly behind them. Now Reciprocity turn their attention to the compound because that's their next objective as well. Wanted's trying to look to see what's going on, but they've all gone around him. He's been completely flanked around. Calvin Klein's also got in that little compound along with Na'Vi. It is very, very crowded within this circle. G2 and Reciprocity keeping each other at arm's length at the moment as everybody looks for a central position. NIP almost up to the compound now that Na'Vi hold.
Yeah, getting very close by. Seven about to crash towards FaZe, though. They're pulling up here towards that open-ended garage. Nice work from Wanted to find Scoom. Can't flush it.
Honestly, I don't think NIP can believe their luck that they've got up this road because it's such an open run up that road. And yet they've been unseen. Here goes the Knights. They're pushing on the backside of Reciprocity. They're about to be put through the mixer. G2 catch them off guard, though. Drayden goes down. G2 finish off Reciprocity. Knights have to back up. Snark, oh, he's going to get hit by the blue.
Aww.
Just about dips in and out. The shot's coming towards him. And NIP, they've kind of come up for free, and they can just keep on flanking around the side. Now FaZe and Seven, they're going at it. Seven have moved in a FaZe compound.
Yeah, they have, and Seven might try and wrap around them a little. That's what they're trying to use this road for, but they've been spotted out by either Desperados or Na'Vi or NIP. Someone's got them pinned down here, and yeah, it is the Desperados. So FaZe know that's the angle they're probably trying to work from. That's the information you can garner from these pushes and from those shots coming through. Edelweiss there gets spotted out as well. They don't have nades to hand, I don't think, so they can't really push him out of position as FaZe try and do that just right back towards them.
They're all tucked in against the barrels. Aitzy gets a bit of vision, sees them, and can hear the footsteps. He knows they're all on the back wall as well. Any nade that he had could be used. Meanwhile, Desperados, they're tossing the nades, and that's actually going towards NIP. They're looking down. NIP are the ones that are in angles as they toss the nades down towards Na'Vi. It's back and forth all across the circle. G2 and ENCE, meanwhile, in the northeast as well, they're going at it, so multiple fights going on.
70 to push. Fuzzface just got knocked. They need to be reading this, and they are. Here we go. Aitzy going to be kind of passed around. So Dovnik's there. Molly goes in, isolating one. Really good play from Aitzy. That's going to be an insta-flush. Trade comes back in for Buster, but FaZe are on recovery mode here. Aitzy's already low. Fuzzface is low. Ubah's been flushed.
This is not looking good for FaZe Clan. They get pressured. Seven had such a big day yesterday with that 15-kill round. Edelweiss coming around the side. Buster will finish off Aitzy. That's a nade that will do it for him. They will manage to get him down. The two members of FaZe is sacrifice your own teammate to get one down. Edelweiss, big push from him. Gets one, but can't get the second as Fuzz back on his feet comes down. Can't face, and he's down to 25 HP. Has to back away.
What do you do here? You go for the heal, you're going to get a nade bank towards your face. You're at least feeling that one. Luckily for him, Sadovnik doesn't have any, so he's gone for the revive here. And Fuzzface goes for the heal. Tense situation. EDELWEISS should be able to get a heal off as well, but before Fuzzface does much about this.
So let's wrap up. G2 have taken down ENCE in the north side. They're now coming back down towards the Knights. You can see Na'Vi and NIP still engaging, but it looks like NIP are coming off a lot worse in that fight. Fuzzface has got pushed once again, so busted down. He's still in a 2v1. You can see him in the bottom corner there. He's actually got outside, picked up against the pickup truck. Is he going to try and take it and get out of there, or will he go for the fight?
He might just try and wait for them to play out here and try and catch him in the back. And now Na'Vi trying to make the play through. Znark's gone down. I don't know who's left for the Knights. And FaZe did get caught off. Sadovnik caught him. And now NIP are going to flourish from this unless they get caught in the crossfire. SIMSY could have a big angle on this one as well. Molotovs rain in and Na'Vi are boxed in.
Calvin's still inside that little shed. He's managed to keep himself in there, kept
no.
himself quiet. Gaxi hears it now, so he's looking at the underhand. Senya catches Calvin as soon as he tries to go for the flank around. Na'Vi still managing to keep 3 on their feet. They lost the doozy early on to the Knights, but this is still playing out all well out of the circle. The rest of the Desperados are watching this play out, so they're looking to try and bank as many points. 7 now need to also make the way up the hill. CrowCrowd in the north, they're trying to sweep around on G2 and take control. And don't forget about DA. They've sent it to that center around about phase 3, and they've been there ever since.
They have. They're trying to meet 7 at the door, and 7 are pretty broken at this point. That armor can't be pretty. They can't have a lot left for them. So you'd imagine it's going to work out. Mitraleius is at the front of it, and he's one of the heavy fraggers. He's the one putting up points for them. As Na'Vi on the move, but let's see if they can make it very far. Wanted does go down in 8th. The Knights putting up a couple of points here. That might be enough to jump GamerLegion again. This is going to be a contested battle as NIP do find TomiL, or at least Desperados, on the outskirts. ABeautflDeath chimes in, but there's EDELWEISS. That's not good. DA are losing out on players.
Yes, it was just about the worst possible time that they could all turn around and look towards NIP and Desperados. Mert looks like he's going to finish it off here. Or is he? Onto EDELWEISS. EDELWEISS has just flushed out so many of his team. Oh my word, he nearly managed to turn it round in a 2v4.
CrowCrowd moving in, look at them. They know it instantly. They see this action. They know what's happening. Tiikzu is going to just mop this up. Nice, decisive play. CrowCrowd have so much of the circle. North and west controlled. They can't overextend because revives become very, very tricky. But if they stay this assertive, they can win this out.
Na'Vi managed to get a glimpse of CrzyZZ from behind, so that puts Yannis down. They're up to the little crash sites at the moment, so Na'Vi looking to try and exert their control as well. They have to worry about NIP down south. It is very much a multi-dimensional battle going on here as Mice tries to find Mert around the side there. Misat, sorry. ABeautflDeath taken low, but look at Na'Vi. They want to get rid of NIP threat.
It's not a bad idea. Let's see if they can do it. Miraku swift on the shot there. Headshot pays off. Nice tag towards PokeMordoi. Going to keep them humble, slow them down. This is good play. Where's his support, though? I want to see something over the shoulder. I want to see that Tracer Fire is trying to push. He's got a nice advantageous position. Oh, denied by PokeMordoi. But there comes the rest of the team. There's the support you were looking for.
DA are running straight around towards this. They're trying to flank around, but CrowCrowd are backing up behind them. So they're going to get faced by one of these teams. They realize the danger already. MBS is trying to hold the back while Gaxi gets the position, gets a nice little spray down onto Mert there, takes half his hit points down and finishes the job with the second round. Now he looks at the hill. Did he just catch a glimpse of Misa there? May well have.
He hasn't seen ABeautflDeath, though. He was too low on the ground. Gaxi hasn't peeked that deep. That could be a bit of an awkward issue now. But again, CrowCrowd remain so in control of this circle. This is a big game for them, and they should win this out every day of the week.
Yeah, NIP are obviously the team that are chasing them on the points, but unfortunately for them, G2 and CrowCrowd still remain in this top 4, so it's not going to be too many points gained for them, as Gaxi still looks for an angle. ABeautflDeath, the last man. Can he cause a problem? He's happened so many times. He's caught teams off guard. There's a little snake. It may well happen to NIP here. No, they're 100% checking. They suspect.
Yeah, that little ridge is keeping him safe.
Yeah. Gaxi's
there we go.
Gotta see
nice
this.
from Miraku.
Yeah.
That's what you needed. Maybe there's a bit of utility to be hoovered up. And
okay, this is a problem for CrowCrowd now. So in the 2v3, Yannis is pretty much playing in whack-a-mole down the side there, so they got him pinned. This is their only worry.
Yeah, looking at the positioning, NIP's run-up is pretty much open ground. It's very hard for them to find a way in, and I don't know what the southeast is like. Maybe there's room there, but for now, CrowCrowd haven't banged to rights.
Time is running out for NIP because the second that Yannis goes down, it opens it up for the rest of CrowCrowd to come flooding around the corner.
Here it comes.
Yannis has already eaten the blue. Misa going for the spray through. That was a big hit, but Miraku will go down. Yannis is finished off. The rest of CrowCrowd can come in. It's a 4v2. Gaxi's trying to get as close as he can. Knew they put a bit of damage onto Misa, lit him up, but it wasn't enough. And now look at this, Timmy and
Temi
Co.
can't
all
see
coming
Gaxi.
across.
That's the one thing. That's why Gaxi's dangerous. He can't actually see that ridge line at all. Spraying in, hoping for the best. It looks like CrowCrowd are on the verge, unless Gaxi can do the damage now. Now the position's noted, you feel he's run out of options, and Nookie's got the angle. The spray comes in, Temi puts down Miraku. It's down to MBS and Gaxi here.
Not a lot they can do from this angle. It's looking like a simple execution. Gaxi, the last man, will go down. CrowCrowd, your winners. 8-kill win. They'll be happy with that. They just came in from the north, relatively unscathed throughout, and just watched it all play out. And really, that's what they had to do. You look at the Na'Vi compound, obviously a lot of action there. Down in San Martin as well. And FaZe Clan getting overrun by 7. Somewhat surprising, but it paid off.
Yeah, it did. Again, I think just credit to playing the circle really well. A couple of teams out in the West certainly had a shot at doing what CrowCrowd did. They weren't able to stay away from the action long enough and play in at the right time, whereas CrowCrowd found their timing really well, and they played it out with that kind of balance of safety, but also knowing when to take those fights. And they seem to be able to pull up those 2-2 splits so diligently these days. It's really fun to watch those individual players just doing really nice work together as a collective.
7th win for CrowCrowd. Let's go down to Parla.
Okay, thank you, Temi. I've been told I need to talk to Tiikzu. Why am I being told I have to speak to you specifically?
I think he spoke too much already yesterday.
Okay, well, both of you are great on the mic and also great on the server. Congratulations on that victory. It felt quite unusual to me that in the late phases there were still many teams alive, a lot of action going on. What were you guys doing to make sure you didn't get picked off by any of the other teams?
We play kind of 2-2 split at the end, so we can help each other. And we just played it pretty safely and just whip out the edges and took the control of the whole circle.
And so, talk to me about the very end game there, going up against NIP. They tried to pull out some cheeky tricks there to sneak up close to you. Were you aware of Gaxi pushing up?
Yeah, we had info about every single one of them. And because we had NOOKIE and TomiL on the north side of the circle, they couldn't do much on that situation.
All right, and at this point, you are really solidifying your chances of going to PGC. How comfortable are you that you're going to keep that position?
We are not thinking about that, like, points or anything now. We just play game by game and see what we're getting.
That seems like an approach that's been quite successful for you and your team. We've got the rest of today and tomorrow to go. Can we expect some more wins from the CrowCrowd?
At least good games. I don't know about the wins. We'll see.
All right, everybody, time will tell. CrowCrowd take the first chicken dinner of the day. They're playing fantastically. Congratulations to CrowCrowd. Let's head back to the desk.
At least good games promised here by CrowCrowd. A very pro-gamer South Korean answer coming out from our Finns here. But that's fine as we continue things on. They got themselves another win in the books. Froz, Avenger. CrowCrowd had that one dead to rights. They were in a phenomenal position.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing from the north side there on the lake circles, while most of the teams, they were down on our southeast side. So it was pretty easy for them to just, like, take it easy. We don't need to stress anything out. Make sure we have the control. What I liked most from them, though, was how they were doing this 2-2 split. One of the split taking care of G2, one of the split taking care of DA, making sure we're controlling the whole circle if we can.
And also, when we see this circle, whoever gets the compound that are able to control the northern part to get into the circle like this, they often win. We saw TSM win from this position. Now we see CrowCrowd win from this position. We've seen so many others also in other leagues win from this position here when they get into that. So it's nice to see they're aware of that, and the way they managed to, as you said, with the 2-2 split for us, that was just so perfect.
And I feel like this 2-2 split is something kind of new from CC itself. Usually we would see them doing a 4-man stack on one of the sides, and they would gamble on, this is the side we want to play from. We're going to wipe this team, and then we sweep around to the other side.
Yeah.
Having this 2-2 split, so much better for them.
Definitely. So Razor Edge went out pretty early. Team Liquid took a lot of damage early on as well in this game, so it wasn't the best position for them to get things going. And then as the final circles did appear and come along, I'm not as used to seeing the final circles in some of this area, kind of down that whole hill, as Navi had the high ground, but we're not able to capitalize on it for the most part.
No, but also, like, they were busy fighting. There was a lot of team breaching, so especially the southeastern area where the compound is here, or the high ground is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that breach that area because it's hard to hold from the high ground area because there's so many dips and so many kind of uphill where you have the advantage, so you don't usually hold that spot. So they got breached by 2 teams, and they didn't manage to wipe them out, so they had to fight them kind of on the back foot, trying to make their way into the circle.
But also, when they try to peek the teams down there's so many other teams. So you peek one team, but you're getting seen by 4 teams, and 4 teams will shoot you back.
Definitely so. Here's the points coming in. No team with 0 points. Everybody got themselves a little bit on the board here to get things going for game number 86. Let's take a look at our 1 through 8, though, because it will be quite heavy stacked up towards the top, and it will be 18, 14, and 13 for our top 3 teams. NIP with 8 kills. G2 with 8 kills, CrowCrowd with 8 kills. That's a triple 8.
It is.
There you go.
And also, before this, CrowCrowd was 42 points ahead of Ninjas in Pajamas, as we just talked about. They gained 4 more points on them here, so they're going to be 46 points with 10 more games to go. So Ninjas in Pajamas will need an average of 4.6 FaZe points more per game. It's gonna be so hard for Ninjas in Pajamas to make this.
It's gonna be hard, but it's not impossible.
No, definitely not.
Really good game from NIP, but unluckily, CrowCrowd, they had a better game.
Sure. I mean, NIP have had their days where they've racked up big points, so definitely not out of the realms of possibility entirely. But CrowCrowd with just that little bit of extra damage here. And again, I think this probably comes down to sight angles, etc., for how much they were controlling that last circle. They had perfect position to be able to just batter anybody that they were able to take sight of.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, let's talk about it again. Like,
let's.
Do you want to go to PGC, change something up?
Yes. Or
do you want to stay in your position? You might secure some prize pool money. You might make sure you're not going down to relegation. Which one is the most important thing for you right now? You got to choose.
I thought you were just asking me if I want to go to PGC. I was like, yes, definitely. Let's go. That'd be nice. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. These teams have got to be adaptable, and especially if they go to PGC, right? Because that is the ultimate test of adaptation, be it stage after stage after stage, to then going up against as many teams as they have to.
And I feel like that's the strength of M47 right now. They're so new to all these teams that the teams doesn't really know what M47 will be doing. And that's why we see them prevail so good right now, because they're doing unexpected things. The teams are not expecting what they're going to be doing, and they catch them off guard.
Also because, obviously, in contenders, they go from 32 teams to 16 teams in the final, so they constantly have to be prepared for the change.
Yeah.
And also, like, when you're a new team, and it would also say, some could argue that there are more kind of random factors happening in the contenders. You cannot predict teams as easily. For example, with Liquid, you always know with certain circles, you will see them going to certain spots. In contenders, it will happen that more random factors will go in, and they showed that they're able to prevail that very well. So coming into this, they take the same kind of benefits and abilities they had in the contenders and just apply that to PL. So I really like to see that.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Do you think that M47 will be a team that maybe would get hurt as time goes on here at PEL because people are becoming more adapted to their style? Or from my mind, I think that they could potentially do even better because they're going up against these big names, these big guys.
I think they have a lot more to learn from the big teams, and that's why they're going to be doing even better in the future.
I agree.
Right now, they're just trying stuff out. They're making sure, all right, we're trying to get ourselves comfortable here in the league itself. We're trying to get comfortable with the teams we're playing up against.
Yeah.
We don't really know exactly what they're going to be doing, but, you know, we'll try to adapt all the time.
For me, they're one of the teams that are the most hardworking teams for me. Like, you see them so often, just stream, grind. They play all the time when they're home. They play even more, physically stay fit, everything. They're a hardworking team, and I think they're going to prevail even further when we go into the next seasons.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents. As, of course, make sure to hashtag over on the Twitterverse with hashtag AskPEL, and we'll be able to answer some of those questions later on. I'll get the reader himself to read some of those, and it will be great. For now, though, we're going to go to a short break. When we return, it will be Miramar once again. But before we do that, let's hear from Ultra.